Get ready, fight fans. UFC Seattle just delivered a seismic shockwave, dropping Israel Adesanya down the rankings after a brutal loss to Joe Pyfer. Then, streamer Cr1TiKaL goes nuclear on Dana White over fighter pay, calling for handcuffs and blasting his personal conduct. We're dissecting what's next for the fallen middleweight king, and Sean O'Malley reveals why his upcoming UFC White House fight might not feel as massive as it sounds. You don't want to miss this. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss a second.
Tired of dropping your phone or struggling to prop it up? Meet the Pop Sockets phone grip with expanding kickstand in black, your new must-have accessory. Don't miss out. Grab yours today. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Israel Adesanya's reign hits a major roadblock. The former two-time UFC middleweight champion suffered a devastating second-round TKO loss to Joe Pyfer at UFC Seattle, a defeat that has sent him plummeting down the official rankings. This marks Adesanya's fourth consecutive loss, a streak that has him outside the top 5 in a division he once dominated. The bout, held at the Climate Pledge Arena, saw Pyfer, who entered the night at 14, secure the biggest win of his career and climb an impressive 8 spots to become the 6th contender. Adesanya, previously ranked 4, has now fallen to 9, a significant fall from grace for a fighter with 5 title defenses to his name. Despite the skid, Adesanya has already shut down retirement rumors, leaving fans to wonder what comes next for the last stylebender. The night also featured other notable fights, including Alexa Grasso's victory over Macy Barber and Tyrell Fortune's heavyweight debut, but the focus remains on Adesanya's dramatic fall. Fans are buzzing online about Adesanya's future, with many questioning if he can recapture his championship form after these consecutive losses. Analysts are debating potential matchups that could help him rebuild his career. But before we dive deeper into Adesanya's next steps, stick around because we're about to uncover some explosive opinions on UFC leadership that have the streaming world talking. Is Dana White facing legal trouble over fighter pay? Streamer Cr1TiKaL thinks so. Popular kick streamer Moist Cr1TiKaL, also known as Cr1TiKaL, has launched a scathing attack on UFC CEO Dana White, criticizing the organization's fighter pay as F-king disgusting and criminal. He believes White should be in handcuffs for the low starting contracts offered to UFC athletes. Cr1TiKaL pointed out that UFC starter contracts begin at $10,000 to show and $10,000 to win, which can amount to a mere $40,000 for a fighter who wins 2 bouts in their first year. He contrasted this with the WNBA's minimum wage of $300,000 per season, highlighting what he sees as a severe disparity. The streamer also took aim at White's personal conduct, referencing a story White shared about his wife's C-section being scheduled around a Chuck Liddell fight, calling it deplorable and downright evil. Cr1TiKaL also slammed the UFC's use of AI for promos, suggesting White would use AI fighters if possible to save money. Social media is ablaze with debate, with many echoing Cr1TiKaL's sentiments about fighter compensation, while others defend White's business model. UFC fighters themselves have remained largely silent on the public criticism. These are some serious accusations, but speaking of fighters and their next moves, we're going to break down what's next for a former champion who just took a massive tumble in the rankings. You won't want to miss it. After a tough loss at UFC Seattle, what's the future for Israel Adesanya? In the main event of UFC Seattle, former middleweight champion Israel Adesanya faced off against the surging contender Joe Pyfer. Adesanya, looking to break a 3-fight losing streak, fought well through the early exchanges, landing effective leg kicks and appearing to gain momentum in the second round. However, a critical mistake saw Adesanya stand and trade with Pyfer, who landed with significant power. Adesanya was hurt and subsequently taken down, leading to a TKO stoppage. This loss marks his 4th in a row and his 3rd straight where he showed promise before being finished. Now ranked 9th in the middleweight division, Adesanya has indicated he is not considering retirement, opening up a range of potential future opponents. Names like Christian Leroy Duncan or Roman Dolidze have been floated as possibilities for the former champion's next outing. Fans are divided on whether Adesanya can return to championship form, with many expressing concern over his recent performances. UFC analysts are closely watching his next career move. That's a deep dive into Adesanya's situation. But what about another big name in the UFC, and why might his upcoming fight not feel as monumental as you'd expect? We've got the scoop next. Sean O'Malley on the UFC White House card doesn't seem as big as title fights. Former UFC bantamweight champion Sean O'Malley is gearing up for his next fight on the highly anticipated UFC White House card, scheduled for June 14th. His opponent will be Ayman Zahabi, and the fight is positioned as the third from the top on a stacked event. Despite the unique venue and the buzz surrounding the card, O'Malley revealed on his YouTube channel that, for him, the moment doesn't quite match the intensity of his previous title fights. He specifically cited his championship bouts against Aljamain Sterling and Marlon Chito Vera as feeling significantly larger in scale and importance. O'Malley, who is looking to rebound after recent championship losses, noted the shift from main event status to a spot further down the card. Fans are debating whether O'Malley's perspective is accurate, with some agreeing that the lack of a title on the line diminishes the perceived magnitude of the fight, while others argue the White House factor makes it historically significant. It's fascinating to hear from a fighter's perspective, but before we wrap up, we'll give you a lightning-fast recap of all today's biggest stories. We've got a packed show for you today. Israel Adesanya took a major tumble in the UFC rankings after his loss to Joe Pyfer at UFC Seattle. Streamer Cr1TiKaL unleashed a furious rant against Dana White, slamming fighter pay and White's personal conduct. We also looked at what's next for the former middleweight king, Israel Adesanya, and Sean O'Malley shared his thoughts on why his upcoming UFC White House fight might not feel as huge as his previous title bouts. Don't miss any of our updates. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for more exclusive fight news, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video, leave a comment with your thoughts on today's stories, and follow us on all our social media platforms for behind-the-scenes content. We'll see you next time.